The Boogeyman is the third installment in Yuri Games' Strange Men Anthology, and I'm gonna be honest up front. When I first got into watching playthroughs, this one was always my favorite to watch. I mean, it's everything I love. Crazed mass murderer on the loose in a creepy castle with a dark history and the people around you dropping like flies. Hear me when I say this. We need a steady stream of content like this. Not sure if it's still my favorite game now, having played it myself, but it's nonetheless a strong entry in the series. In this installment, we step into the pavement-worn loafers of Detective Keith Baring, a no-nonsense workaholic cop who's wanted dead or alive for the vicious murder of fun. Still trying to determine whether the proverbial stick is in the mud or up his ass, but either way, that thing is jammed in there and ain't coming out anytime soon. True to form for the first two games in the series, we will discover that there are some pretty good reasons why Keith is the miserable asshole that he is, and that he wasn't always like this. I won't spoil things here, but needless to say, I was filled with chagrin for how hard I initially was on Keith, after finding out just what the hell's been eating at him. And this is what I love about the characters that Yuri Games gives us. The Keith that we are introduced to is incredibly unlikable. He's rude, surgically attached to his work phone, and he routinely ignores his darling wife Helena, even the most basic of requests from her. Like, you're on vacation, just play a fucking round of cards with your wife and her new friends. Oh, and he's also a liar. The reason he's on this vacation stay at a creepy castle in the first place? He was placed on mandatory leave after his brutish handling of a sting operation involving a civilian, a fact he never admits to his wife. When she asks about his day, he merely says, "Same as usual," which begs the question, how many times does this sort of thing happen to you, Keith Baring? But back to my point. The writers give us a fatally horrible first impression of the game's protagonist. By all rights, we should hate him and by extension abandon the game. This is an incredibly risky move, but the writing and characterization are so strong that we are convinced that there's something there just beneath the incredibly rough exterior. They start us off with the embittered husk of who Keith Baring really is, but enough of his former whole self still shines through. That is an incredibly difficult balance to strike, and so far Yuri Games have given us 3 successful renderings of this, which is no small feat. Well done. Having completed the first 3 games in the series, I think I'm picking up on this theme of inertia. David Hoover, Sophie Grundler, and Keith Baring have gone through some traumatic experiences that have damaged their psyches and caused them all to become mired in a toxic state of suspended animation. The unbelievable events that they go through in each installment serve as catalysts that force them back into motion and ultimately forward progress via honest confrontations with the unfair things that have been done to them and the unhealthy self-deceptions that they erected as bulwarks in response. We see them initially respond in very human ways. They resist the necessary changes that the outlandish circumstances attempt to bring about by sticking to their guns, only for everything to come to a head and force change. In the Boogeyman specifically, Keith continues to treat every scenario, including the threatened safety of his wife, as a work situation. He is there to serve and protect with the coldness and officiousness required of his position as a police detective. Instead of putting her first, he responds to what is in front of him. I paused at several moments in the game to express my ever-increasing bewilderment at this. In every encounter with the Boogeyman, no matter how brief, or whenever I bumped into someone else or narrowly rescued them from the specific peril designed for them, I would have been shouting from the top of my lungs, "Where is my wife?" or "Have you seen my wife?" respectively. In many ways, the fact that pretty much everyone else exhibits more genuine concern about Helena is incredibly telling. Keith refuses to let his personal feelings cloud his judgment, which is both a crucial asset to a police detective and a horrible quality of a husband. Similar to the first 2 installments, Keith learns the error of his ways. Going business as usual through the insane scenario will not serve him, and he is forced to confront the feelings he routinely pushes down while on the job. Again, I'll stop here to avoid spoilers, but the team delivers excellent writing and one hell of a character study. Now, let's move on from the writing. It is by far the shining star of every installment so far, but we've got a little bit more ground to cover. The gameplay is almost identical to the former entries, which isn't a bad thing. For the most part, it works. We have engrossing puzzles that are a joy to solve and time sequences that up the stakes in really impactful ways. The biggest issue with gameplay would have to be the clunky yet necessary combat portions, which has been true since the very first game. Other than that, the gameplay is good enough to carry us through the excellent story. Now, I do have to mention the elephant in the room, the voice acting. The devs introduce a major quality of life improvement over the first 2 entries in the form of full voice acting. On top of that, this is an option that you can choose to enable or disable at any point during your playthrough. As someone who posts playthroughs on YouTube, full voice acting gave my vocal cords a welcome reprieve. That being said, some vocal performances were definitely better than others. I say this with as much kindness as I can. Probably the best, most consistent performances came from Richard Grundler and the Boogeyman himself, though the actor for Keith wasn't far behind them. Other performances came off a bit awkward and stilted, though I will say that the voice actress portraying Helena dramatically improved by the end. This leads me to believe that many of the actors didn't have much prior experience and became more comfortable with the task each time up to the plate. And while not every delivery was a home run, I genuinely appreciate the effort. I do think this addition made a major difference in terms of giving me more to work with in my interpretation of the characters and generally made my gaming experience that much more enjoyable. One final note on a nuts and bolts level, just as some actors gave better performances than others, some mics did better than others. The other thing that is absolutely crucial to mention is the path to getting the best ending. It is obscure as hell, which has been true for the prior 2 games in the series as well, but I think the Boogeyman's good ending roadmap is obscure to the point of frustration. If you got his ending without the help of a guide, 1, I don't believe you, and 2, you can go straight to hell. I felt obligated to get the good ending before finishing up my review, and you will see the polished, edited fruits of my labor in a few short minutes. But what you won't see, or more to the point here, are the rage-filled shrieks when I veered just ever so slightly off course and missed a good ending flag. You also won't hear the sound beating I gave to my keyboard when a scene didn't play out as it should have, even though I thought I followed the guide religiously, only to realize that there was one small thing I missed. In a game with multiple endings, we should have to work for the best ending, but this was fucking ridiculous. All that being said, once again the devs proved their mettle in the world of RPG Maker horror games with some excellent storytelling and characterization, which are probably the most crucial elements of this genre. If you're in the mood for a thrilling game of cat and mouse in a castle with dark secrets, you're gonna love this one. Alright, well hello and welcome to this kind of addition to my review of the Boogeyman. So I'm doing this because I don't think that I could really give a kind of comprehensive review without having gotten the quote-unquote true ending for this game. So I'll just be kind of tacking this on to the end of the review. I've, done this and then I've gone and written the review, given my overall thoughts. But I think for the sake of posterity, it just makes sense to kind of have this portion to kind of show you, if you're interested, how to actually get the good ending. So, without further ado, we'll just be going, showing each scene where there is a pivotal choice that you have to make or something that you have to find to keep you on track for that good ending. So, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here's where we start to have our kind of good ending flags that we can't mess up. So first we got to use the passage key here. What's going on? Okay. And then we see this dismembered head. So there's something in its mouth. We take what's inside. And we get squirted by a water pistol filled with blood. Gross. We walk away, and a body drops. We have to examine the body to get the videotape. Now, I've got the guide up because I don't know how you figure all this shit out to get the good ending without a guide. So we enter the room on the west side of the second floor. Okay. So now we have to go over to the west side. Into the fish tank room. So I did both of these things in my initial playthrough, but then I fucked everything up from there. So let's see. So we have to examine the big fish tank. Okay, then turn on the lights and re-examine it. So I'll not be unlucky, fish. That's supposed to draw our attention back to the dining room. So in the dining room, everybody in the scene remarked at this big fish on the wall. And we're supposed to remember that and come back here. Yeah. So now there's a room that I had completely forgotten about in my original playthrough, which was this middle room right here. So we're supposed to unlock it with the theater key. Look at that. They've got a nice little table with some brandy and a glass on it. There's a nice little buddy for us to watch a film with. And then there's this VHS and projector. So we watch the film. Or the video. Rather. So this tunes you on. That's Helena. Hiding in the bathroom. And of course, there's our best friend, Boogie. I love how after all this, he just waves at the camera like, yep, I know you're watching this. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the footage here and we'll pick up at the next flag, but you need to do all of that relatively early on in order to kind of get the good ending kind of into motion, but we'll pick up in a sec. Okay, so shortly thereafter, like not too much further along, is the suit of armor puzzle, which there's a key thing here that we're supposed to solve while not getting, you know, physically dismembered. So one thing that we have to do, which I was super pissed about, we need to look at this painting, but we can't normally do that unless we know to move this suit of armor over. And then we see this crossing of the swords. So two kind of crossing each other and then one coming down the middle. And that's supposed to draw our attention to these three suits of armor over here. I'm just gonna make a quick save so I don't, you know, in case I fuck it up. So what we want to do is get into the intersection point. We see that their swords fall, right? Now, what we should realize from that is we need to move all of these so that they're a little bit closer to one another. Which again, how the fuck do you figure all this out without a guide? But anyway, we do that and something falls. Or something is unearthed? I don't know. There's something in the broken stone. Yeah, I guess it's unearthed. We got a bit key. So we're going to need that bit key. We're actually going to go use that now because I just remembered. So we actually opened this, the rusty padlock with the wrench hammer. Because we can just brute force it. But down here, we're going to use the bit key. And this will give us a little scene in here.
Helena.
Keith? Keith, are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm fine. What about you?
Keith, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Helena, your leg's wounded. Hold on, I'll get over there.
How?
Keith, I'm fine. I'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about.
It's interesting that she gets scared like that all of a sudden.
Helena? Wait, Helena, I'll be right there. Don't move from that spot.
I'm fine. I swear. I'll be fine.
Doesn't seem like
Don't worry,
it.
Keith. Don't worry.
Helena!
And then she bolts. Yep, so pretty obscure chain of events that leads to us being able to see that scene, in my opinion. Maybe there are people out there who are like, no, you're a dumbass. That was like incredibly straightforward and obvious. You didn't pick up on that? Well, then you are just dumb as shit. But, you know, I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room, but I also don't think I'm the dumbest. And, yeah, I don't know how I would have ever figured that out without a guide. But I digress. We'll pick up at the next, crucial point. Okay, so here's the next point, to kind of make sure you're still on track with the good ending. So what you want is there's a TV and a VCR here, for a VHS tape. We've already watched it, but this should be a tip-off that we need to watch another video or find another tape. So we get the rope here, and this hint, go under, should be enough for us to piece it together that we need to grab the rope, walk all the way back up here, jump across the hole, and use the rope, and then go down. Oh wait, no, don't. Yep, go down, not over. And here we grab the VHS tape. This is also a little watching area, I guess, above the spike pit where Sophie kind of was falling to her death. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, we take the videotape back and watch it. And let's see what our prize is. Here's Helena again. Why is he so interested in taping Helena, but nobody else? Seems like all of this was specifically designed for Keith. Again, I love how he just like looks back up at the camera like, hey, you watching? Anywho, so that was the next requirement, so we'll pick up at the following one. Okay, so here's the next kind of pivotal moment. So you're supposed to come over here to this part of the castle, come to the child's bedroom, and play the music box. Once the song finishes, the key will fall out, and you can grab it and go. So what we want to do is we want to go to this room at the top. We want to avoid having David see the corpse. So we kind of just walk around the edge. There's a grand piano. And the music box key is also the piano key, as well as a key to a clown. But I already went through that once, and I ain't going through that again. I'm too afraid of clowns. So we press the switch, and the painting opens.
David, lend me your lighter.
And we go inside.
Stay here. Stand by the painting and keep a lookout. Call for me if you see anything strange.
Got it.
We just leave him alone in a room with a corpse. Oh god, okay. And it's so we can get this scrap of paper. After the performance last night, the poor little man rolled out of the town to the lonely churchyard. Or strolled out of the town. The wreath of flowers on Columbine's grave had already faded. There he sat, and what a study for a painter, with his chin on his hand and his eyes turned toward me. He looked like a grotesque monument, a Punchinello on the grave, strange and comical. If the public had seen their favorite, how they would have applauded and cried, "Bravo, Punchinello! Bravo! Bravissimo!"
Hey, detective.
Uh-oh.
Up to your silly profiling, it seems. Say, why don't I try doing the same?
Okay, have at it.
You're always carrying a little box with you. A precious little black box. A treasure trove of all you hold dear. Don't you notice the smell from that box? You know what it is, don't you? Do you think you're better than me? Do you want to kill me or befriend me? I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Who do I pray to straighten out this? crooked tongue.
So this is such an intriguing scene where the boogeyman is practically right over our shoulder, breathing down our neck. And he merely he just points out the similarities between himself and Keith Baring, where he's calling into question his whole motive practically for kind of going about all of this the way he does. And it's a fair line of questioning, given that he's not really, at least compared to the other kind of people in this situation, he doesn't really convey that much concern for Helena. He's trying to kind of go about this like he would as a police detective, as kind of coldly and methodically as he can to keep his wits about him. But in his kind of unwillingness to express any genuine concern for his wife, there's kind of a shock and an alarm there. I mean, it's the same kind of thing that the boogeyman is able to be so methodical. Obviously, he relishes, torturing especially Keith in this way, playing this game of cat and mouse, having the thrill. He relishes in that, but he's also incredibly methodical, just like Keith is here, and drawing this comparison and saying, you think you're so different from me, you think you're so much better, but are you? When you can't even have a human moment and express genuine concern for the well-being of your wife, who is God knows where. We know that her foot is hurt, but what else has been hurt since who knows how many minutes or hours even have elapsed? And he can't even be human about it. And we learn some things why. It's great writing. But yeah, so we're going to press on. Just going to examine a few other things just to make sure. And the painting here. A painting hangs on the wall. A poem is written on the frame. Pierrot Lunaire. Pierrot, my laughter have I unlearned, the image of radiance, dispersed, dispersed. Black waves the banner upon the mast. Pierrot, my laughter have I unlearnt. Oh, now return to me, soul's veterinarian, snowman of lyric, your lunar highness. Pierrot, my laughter. And I wonder if that's a reference. I don't know enough about this poem, but I wonder if it's a reference to Pierrot le Fou, or Pierrot the Mad. Could be. Boogeyman is definitely evoking some of those vibes. But anyway, that was the next thing that we had to do to kind of stay on track for the good or happy ending. So we will pick up at the next point, and I'll see you then. Okay, so here's the next part. So we have to walk past this room where Sophie and Richard were in their ordeal with the boogeyman, and we start to hear footsteps, as you can hear. So what that should signify to us is we go over and check out this big old hole. Then we go in.
My neck's gonna break.
Hey, quit shaking. Don't you work out at all?
Why are you trying to get up there anyway?
That big-headed freak. I need to learn more about them.
Oh, sorry.
This wall's been painted over, so I'm sure there's a path up ahead.
That doesn't explain using me as a footstool. Climb up there and get your weight off my shoulders.
Plans could have worked, but I wouldn't push a wounded guy. And for your information, only 3% of that weight is fat. So excuse you.
Nice.
Toss me your lighter.
He's so bossy.
I'll look ahead. Don't move from that spot. Shout for me if anything happens.
Okay, so I did this portion before, but I didn't do it right. So I'm going to make a quick save to make sure I do it right this time. So we continue along, we hear our phone. We don't answer it. We go in here. Get to the crumpled up balls of paper. We see Dick Anderson, 39, assistant police inspector, robbery, murder division, family, wife, 2 children. The rest has been torn off.
Dick?
So why was he mentioned? Why is there all this info on him? Anyway, we hear footsteps of someone approaching. So what we're supposed to do is hide over here and turn out the lighter. Then we get this little scene with the boogeyman.
Don't
tackle him.
move. You're under arrest.
Okay.
Your wifey's got a good butt on her.
Hey.
Really makes me want to chase after her.
Where is she? Where?
Ah, detective. How careless. Trying to take me on in such close quarters. I hate to say such a rude thing to a detective, but not really. Dummy.
And then we get this scene with Helena.
Keith, my poor darling. You watched me as I wallowed in the depths of despair. And there you stood, with your back against the edge. Now, it's time that you finally learn. You need pride. You need peace. So go ahead, take it all. But don't you see? In the end, there will be nothing.
So if you don't do everything right up to this point, you'll have this scene, but her face will be like darkened. Like she's kind of got some unhinged quality about her, and the wording will be exactly the same, but the delivery will lend itself more to that, like there's some malice in her voice and there's some resentment there. And for good reason. I mean, Keith did, like, he had to come to the hospital when their son died and identify the body. And, you know, he did that, and then he got a call on his work phone, and Helena begged him to stay behind and comfort her and be with her. And he left. He fucking left. And she's trying to convey to him, you know, in the alternative version of this scene, she's not trying to convey something. There's malice. She wants to take everything away from him, to annihilate him for what he did to her. But in here, she's warning him because she still cares about him and saying, can't you see that how you're going about this will lead to nothing, to self-ruination?
Left of you.
Yeah. Really nice scene. And then after you see this little scene, we go out here. And in the hallway, there will be a note and a tape recorder. You just want to hear her.
Where is this? Who are you? What's going on?
Yeah, who is she with? It sounds like someone's been bound and gagged.
Hello, Miss Baring.
Who?
Call me Boogie, ma'am. I'm about to begin a game befitting such a joyful night. I'd appreciate your participation as well. Run from me, miss.
That's simple.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean. Where's my husband? Where am I? Why is that man tied up?
Ah, he's an assistant. He can quickly explain to you how this will all work. If I should catch you, this happens.
Jesus, he shot him?
Understand the rules now?
Where's my husband?
Somewhere you wouldn't know about.
Where's my husband?
He can't save you. He's in my grasp. It's up to me if he lives or dies. Now run, Miss Bayring. The game begins, and I am it.
So, I was on the inside of the cell.
Oh, good point. You were. Alright, so, that was next, so we're gonna pick up at the following kind of point. Till then. Okay, so I'm gonna pick it up from here, because this all should be good ending territory, so we're just gonna go over here. Back to where we first got into this mess with David and the poison gas. We come to the graffiti room.
Ugh.
Keith, let's rest a little. If you don't take a break, you're going to...
Shut up. This isn't the time.
I'm tired, okay? Let me rest. Or are you gonna drag around an exhausted citizen, detective?
Smart.
Lend me your lighter. You've got one smoke to rest.
The heck is that guy anyway? How does he know about my mom and Shirley's past? It's really disturbing.
He's done his
Did
homework.
you celebrate your birthday with Shirley last month? Or was it with Paul and Marion?
Oh, I scheduled a meal with Shirley, then celebrated with Paul and Marion the other...
Hmm?
Huh. Did I ever tell you my friends' names?
Sorry about your mother. Brain tumors are like a landmine. One misstep means trouble. But I guess they don't teach you how to dodge landmines in flight school, huh?
What?
Oh, and you want to toughen your stomach for anchovies and liver. I mean, unless you want younger girls thinking that's cute or whatever.
Hold on a second. What do you know about my mom, too? And my friends in school? I never told you any of that.
Keep this between us. But working as a detective for 15 years, you get to know stuff. Like what someone's done in the past, just by looking at their faces.
See, that's a little far-fetched. You couldn't know all that.
Maybe that big-headed freak is the same way.
You're kidding, right?
You think I'm kidding? You're a real sucker. Take care you don't get swindled someday.
What's this about? What do you know all about me?
You were taken to the police after the incident with your mother. Remember the detective who questioned you?
I was pretty dazed at the time, so I don't really remember. But it wasn't you, was it?
Eric Simpson, my subordinate. It was only an attempted crime, so he was the only one to handle you. And you know, he's got a real messy desk. He lets case files and the like pile up so high they even topple over onto my desk. I saw some files on you among them. Your history, your family, that kind of info. And your mother's diagnosis. Oh, and the ones who verified your identity were your friends Paul and Marion Martin. I remember them well, especially because that Paul guy made a huge ruckus at the station. He was the one that ate too many chili dogs too. Right?
Then the anchovies. Oh yeah, I mentioned that at dinner. But I didn't tell you I hated liver, did I?
Lucky guess.
I hate anchovies myself, and I hate liver. That's all.
Why did you make a guess for that one?
Because you're stupid enough that I thought it'd fool you.
If you know so much about me, why didn't you say so when we first met?
Because I was suspicious of you.
Huh? Me? Why?
A year and a half ago, you found a hanged body in an abandoned house in another state. The state police came to us trying to determine the guy's identity. That's when I read your testimony, and it was real sketchy.
Sketchy? Why?
I understand you were looking for the guy who formerly lived in your apartment, but how did you track him down without even knowing his name or what he looked like? Said you followed notes, but when you were asked to show him, you said you lost them. You said you shot a man in the house, but there was no gunpowder on the gun, no dropped cartridges. Most importantly, nobody to shoot. And then you just happened to find that former tenant's corpse. You gotta know that's suspicious.
But it's true. I was led there by the notes he wrote. Once I found the body and called the police, I realized they were gone. And I did shoot someone, but I'm not sure if it was a person.
As you testified, but I guess that doesn't matter so much now. I was wary of you because of what you could have done. I didn't want to leave Helena with a madman. If you did anything even a little weird, I was going to turn around and take my wife home.
Do you still distrust me?
When we first met on the boat, I intentionally told you that I was a detective. Somebody with something to hide would be alarmed. But then you just said cool, so I was a bit less wary. You might be crazy for all I know, but you haven't shown any sign of being dangerous. Listen, everyone's got bad stuff in their past. For somebody who shouldn't know it to dig it up and use it against you, that'd agitate and anger most people. He knows that well. He's showing off what he knows to upset all of you and control your actions. He's done it to you, to Richard, to Lance.
Lance, too?
He's an ex-journalist. Took photos of that job, too. When he published articles, he signed his photos with LK. He investigated the state police during a sexual assault and murder case 3 years back, but went too far. The victim's family and civil liberties group attacked him for invasion of privacy, and he was driven out of journalism.
How do you know about all that, Keith?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I understand that those are the guy's methods, but how does he know all of our pasts in the first place?
The boogeyman lives in your closet, right? So, he's always watching. Watching when you nearly killed your mother. Watching when you were snuggling with your wife in bed.
Don't make threats like that.
He's only human. The appearance, the weapon, the info, it's all just to scare us.
Yeah, there's an interesting scene you can unlock with Sophie. Shortly after you rescue her a second time in the safe room, if you go to talk to her, she mentions that this isn't the boogeyman that we're dealing with. And I put it in my playthrough. There's a scene in The Sandman where she actually encounters the boogeyman while she's hiding from the Sandman. So, you know, someone getting that close to her, she would know the real from the fake. And she lets us know. This ain't the boogeyman we're dealing with here.
You're taking it pretty well, though.
It's all cheap tactics. It's not going to scare me.
Yep, that's our detective. Nothing scares him, even though his wife might be in danger. Still calm.
If I let myself be shaken, you'd all follow suit. I can't protect anyone if I get distracted. A detective doesn't just go fishing for corpses. I've got my lousy pride and my duty. I can't just watch while someone kills people with a grin on their face.
Even if you're forsaking someone important to you?
What are you trying to say?
There's a big gap between your ideal and what you really want. It's contradictory. Isn't that painful for you? I wanted to be a pilot, but thinking about it now, I think I was just too stubborn to see anything else.
So?
You'll understand someday.
When you're older.
Thinking of taking a nap here? Let's go.
Keith, those things you said before, were you trying to make me angry?
I don't intend on telling anyone your history, nor your family problems. Sorry if you're still pissed.
No, it's fine. I guess I am kind of a brat.
No. Okay, so let me just see. Yep, okay. So we just checked the painting for a secret passage.
Keith.
David gets it open. And then we proceed. Okay, so there's some kind of dial lock on the door. Another painting. Nope. Okay, worth a shot. A Bible? So one of these passages has to be important, right? We'll have to figure it out. I assume that that has something to do with the code on the door. Code for the secret room, the genealogy of Adam, Noah's Ark, the Tower of Babel. Okay. There can't be anything like limbo. Mom and Dad say that since I haven't been baptized yet, if I die, I'll go to limbo. But there can't be a limbo. I don't want to go to limbo. I hate this meditation room too. And I really hate these Bible passages, but it's much better than the closet. I really, really hate the closet. That's what I think every time I'm yelled at and go in there. But I just do the same things again and go back in there. When I'm in the dark, cramped closet, I wonder. If I stay here forever, I wonder if I'll turn into a monster. Like a movie monster who kills his mom and dad and messes up this whole house. But when I leave the closet, I'm just me. I couldn't become a monster. I couldn't. So I always apologize to Mom and Dad. I'm sorry I was bad. I love you more than anyone in the world. Maybe young writing from the boogeyman?
Hey, stop that, would you?
Huh?
Stop that thing. It's hurting my ears.
So here's the big reveal.
What does?
Your phone! I hate hearing phones ring. It's yours, right? Make it stop already!
Calm down.
Make it stop!
Calm down, please. Where are you hearing a phone ringing? There's no phone ringing.
All this
In
time.
fact, I think I lost my cell phone earlier. So please, calm down.
This was done really well.
I hate it. I hate the sounds of phones.
Why?
Because it always brings bad news. Excuse me.
Yep, so this is the scene that I was referring to earlier.
Bearing here? Yes, that's right. I'll be there.
Mr. Baring, sorry to have called you. Your wife said she couldn't look, but we need you to confirm.
It's my son.
Are you sure?
He's wearing the clothes from this morning. My wife sewed his name on then. Todd Baring. Check behind the neck.
You have my deepest condolences. Sign here. We'll send you a pamphlet for a mortician. Refer to it if you wish. Thank you. There's a nurse waiting outside. Tell them if you need any help. Now, please excuse me.
So sad. But this is the worst part by far.
Helen. It's me.
Hey, Keith, you off loitering somewhere? You gotta hurry. The suspect's on the move. Head for Wellington Street. Got it?
Don't go. stay with me.
And he just leaves. What the fuck, Keith? You know, I think that's why in that earlier scene with Richard, when he says he wants to go after Sophie too, and Keith says no. And Richard breaks down and cries and leans on Keith. I think that's why he gets violent and pushes him off of him.
Please don't leave without telling me. It makes me worry.
I think he pushes him off of him because he's like, at least there's a chance that your daughter is still alive. My son is dead. You get to weep like this and express this concern and this fear. And you're immediately jumping to the fact that she's probably dead. At least there's a chance that she's alive. I'll never see Todd again. And I think that's why he gets so angry and pushes Richard off of him.
It's been a year now.
It just kind of hit me.
You always stayed with me. You always supported me. But I can't do it. I can't stop the tears. You got back on your feet, but I can't do anything but cling to you. But I can't drag you down with my weakness anymore. So...
You know what I thought when I saw his body? I thought I failed. Can you believe that? That a parent would think that after losing a child? But it's true. Everyone has one leg in a coffin. If they aren't careful, they can easily fall in. No exceptions. I should have known that. But I didn't. I prayed that my family would be an exception. I wanted them to be there smiling at me forever. When I saw him in the hospital, something died in me. I wanted to kill the one who took my son from me. And you know, some people smile about the deaths of others. I lost all hesitation to punish those people. I thought if they were gone, it would all end. But it'll never end. I still hear someone scoffing at me, saying, "You couldn't even protect your own son."
It's not your fault.
That's what they all say.
No! It's what I really think.
Then what should I have done? I always felt like such a clown. He died while I was out running around, trying to save others, so the audience just points at me and laughs. I didn't know anything anymore. Why I smiled, why I cried, why I got angry. I forgot how I even expressed those things. Even when I saw him dead, I didn't cry. Now it's just you. You're all I have left. I'll keep praying for a sunny day. And until then, I'll be your umbrella.
No.
Who will keep you from getting wet?
I don't care if I get wet. Helena, if you give up on me someday, then I want you to just forget about me. But please, for my sake, don't leave me alone.
Don't cry, Keith.
I never cry.
No, you're crying. You've always been crying. I'm sorry for pushing my complaints on you. I'll get stronger so I can protect you. Whatever happens, you're someone I never want to lose.
Whew, that was a long-ass cutscene.
I'm scared of phones ringing. I feel like someone's going to tell me about a death in the family again. Ever since then, I haven't been able to answer calls.
Why'd your son die?
Run over by a truck. Driver died instantly. I couldn't blame anyone. I still have idiotic thoughts. Like if I hadn't answered that call, maybe nothing would have even changed. If I'd had been with him, maybe he'd still be alive and smiling. It's completely stupid. It changed nothing. What could I have done? Sorry for grabbing you. I was just confused. Let's go.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I know that.
No, you don't understand. You're clever, so you're trying to fool yourself, saying, it's not my fault, to convince yourself of that. But you can't fully deceive yourself. Deep in your heart, you still blame yourself. So you desperately try to protect everyone, even people you just met. Protecting people as a detective lets you make up for it. You can replace your guilt with pride and a sense of duty, but that isn't going to save you. Even if you only protect what you really feel is important, no one will blame you for it.
Don't act like you know so much. I'm only doing what I should be doing.
And you're deceiving yourself with it.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Then why's my son dead?
It's not your fault. Everyone has things they're powerless to help. So stop lying to yourself, please. Just forgive yourself.
Let's go.
Huh. Oh. Here we go. Yep, so we needed to come in here, get the video camera. Yeah, that was a long cutscene, but it was just such great writing. Okay, so the code here should be 5711. So we have another videotape to watch.
At last, I finally got a hold of you. Oh dear, hurt all over. But what else could I do? You just wouldn't stop running, miss, no matter how much I hurt you. But well, our game of tag's come to a close now. Yes, you can't outrun the scary, scary boogeyman. Are you relieved it's over, or are you still scared? Well, madam, do you want to run?
You're an unbelievable idiot.
Say again.
I called you an idiot. You thought I was running because I was scared? You think I'm scared of you? Maybe you've spent too long in your little closet world to understand. You've convinced yourself that women and children are all scared of you.
This is such a good scene.
What were you planning once you caught me? Kill me? And then what? You'd go to kill Keith, right? You told me you had Keith in your hands. Whether he'd live or die was up to me. I guess that was true. And all this time you've been foolishly chasing after me. You could never kill him. I'm weak. I can't be as strong as Keith is. But there is something I can do, in all my weakness. If I can keep your attention away from Keith by running all the time, I'll run to the ends of the earth. You poor, stupid little boogeyman. You really are such a child. You just love bullying anyone weaker than you. Go ahead. Have fun in your little world. Call yourself a villain, a monster. But I'll never let you bring my husband into it.
I said this in my review, but I really do think the voice actress for Helena really just got so much better as the game wore on, and I think a lot of that has to do with I'm guessing, this is pure conjecture, but I'm guessing that a lot of the voice actors for this game didn't have a lot of experience, and kind of just by going through this and getting more and more into the characters and getting more comfortable with the act of voice acting, I mean, you can see how much she improves over the course of the game. This scene especially is some of her best work, and it's really, I mean, a scene like this, it's just pivotal that she gets it right, and she nails it. It really, so much improvement from the beginning of the game. Just really good job here.
Don't you dare lay a hand on him!
You talk too much, madam.
That's terrible. Let's hurry and look for Helena. She must be nearby. Keith? Keith, what are you doing? We have to hurry. Keith, are you listening? Hey, what are you staring at? Are you asleep? Get a grip! Come on!
I'm awake. David, you look for Helena. She should be near.
Huh? What about you? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go kill a monster.
Oh yeah. So this is open now. So now we have, I think, our final showdown. Not answering. Wait, it's not through here? I think I went the wrong way. Okay, maybe it's up through here. Yeah, this looks right.
Wait, Dad. Leave the door open and don't turn out the lights in the hall.
Why?
The boogeyman will come.
What kind of guy is this boogeyman?
He has long nails and kidnaps kids. He lives in the closet.
A kidnapper? Well, can't leave a guy like that on the loose. Alright, Dad'll give him a good beating. Hey, Boogie, you in there? What the? Hey, let go.
Dad? Dad?
Whew, he was a little tough, but I got him good. No worries, son. Old Boogie won't come for you anymore.
Really?
Would I lie?
Would you?
Me and Mom are in the bedroom right there, you know. You still scared? Oh, need your stuffed bunny, do you? Or should I read you a bedtime story? Maybe the ones with the fairies.
No way. I'm not a wuss, Dad. I can sleep by myself.
That's the spirit. Listen, Todd. If the boogeyman comes to get you again, Dad'll beat him up. I'm not gonna let anyone mess with you or Mom.
'Cause you're a police officer?
'Cause I'm Dad. Good night, son. Should I leave the light on?
It's okay. I've got you and Mom.
Good night. I love you.
Okay, here we are. The final showdown.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times.
Blame it on the boogie.
Blame it on the boogie. Have you ever thought about it, detective? Thought you have an enemy? Who or what it is, you don't even know. Maybe it doesn't even exist. Maybe it's all in your head. But you know there's something tormenting you, always making it so painful. You feel like the whole world's out to make you suffer. Too troublesome to make an enemy of the whole world, right? So just making one enemy will do. I chose you as my enemy. Have I become yours? Oh well, either way, we're gonna settle this right here.
Uh-oh.
Let's end this wonderful game now. Can you beat this final boss and take back your beloved wife? What's so funny?
Boy, you're really having a blast, huh? What's so funny that you can be all smiles all the time? Total opposite of me. I don't remember the last time I laughed. But I guess we were pretty similar after all. In a sense, it was all a lie. You're always grinning ear to ear, but you're scared, aren't you? So you keep running. You can't go head to head with me. You and me are just acting. You're no scary monster. And I'm no paragon of justice. Final boss? Huh. A big baddie should be a pretty sly guy, shouldn't they? But taking hostages, always on the run, the only thing you can chase after is girls' rumps. You know, I wasn't planning to do anything with you. As long as the others were safe, I was fine leaving you be. I'd secure your hostages and scram, then just leave you to the local police. Because I'm not chasing you. You just keep running from me. What I'm really chasing after. Sorry, but it ain't you. That's right, it's not you. You're my enemy. Spare me the sleep talk. Why would I make my enemy a dunce who just sneaks away? A coward who hides in the closet and threatens kids. And your enemy? Not me either. You've got a lot more enemies. If you go to the slammer, you're gonna be a real popular guy. I can tell. But this is a great chance. No hostages to get in the way. No one watching. So I can do whatever I like with you. Detective, criminal, that doesn't matter now. You've done the number one thing to get on my bad side. You chased after my wife's rump. That alone is enough reason for me to beat you down. Don't you think, Boogie?
Does he soil himself?
Can't afford to laugh anymore, can you? Back to your closet, Boogeyman. You don't have what it takes to make it over here.
Oh, damn. Guess he does have what it takes. There we go. Got him.
Where do you think you're going, Lance?
I'm gonna find them. They've been gone way too long.
Did you forget what he said? It'll be a burden on him to move around on our own.
Ah, fuck him.
Well, then after all's said and done, we'll tell him we did just what he said. Of course, you might have all gone stone cold by that time.
Don't joke about things like that.
Sounds like a joke to you? We got 2, maybe 3 corpses around here?
What part of don't you get?
Stop, you two. Don't fight.
We'll go search together. I'll lead the way. Sophie and Shirley, you hold hands. And Lance, you watch the rear.
Papa.
You really want to go?
Yes, we'll be all right together. And there's something I'm curious about.
What's that?
This whole incident may just be a great big farce.
He's on to something.
What do you mean?
Let's be going.
Helena, where are you? Helena?
Is she in the statue? Or... under the statue.
Helena,
David!
are you okay?
That man knocked me out. I woke up here. I was unconscious the whole time.
Now, the first thing, there was someone who was really into Hollywood stuff. So we should be thinking about that when we think about farce.
Helena!
Who might know a thing or two about special effects?
Where are you?
Always on the run, huh? But marijuana addicts can move better than you. What's in that big head of yours? Brendan?
Brendan!
You lose. Detective.
Oh no, he got us.
You're Brendan? Why? Stop moving around.
Keith, Helena.
We have to stop the bleeding. Lance!
Richard, help me out.
Sophie, find something to tie him with.
And they all work together.
Keith!
Got you.
Keith? You...
Helena, when we get home, let's finish our conversation. No more running.
No! Keith, stay with me, please! Keith!
The servants and Stevie. 10 people died all told. I'm sure glad to be alive now. Feeling glad to even have air to breathe.
Listen, don't you say a word about all this, especially not to your coworkers. If it takes money to shut your yap, I'll pay any price.
Oh, bribery. Where's that money coming from?
My own pockets. Listen, you guys can distort the truth all you want, and I won't say a peep, 'cause that's freedom of the press. But this is different. I've got no tolerance for people pointing and laughing at a wounded friend.
Do I gotta tell you again? I'm not a gossip guy. I hate cops, sure, but I hate gossip too. I won't ask for money, and I won't say a peep, 'cause I'm grateful to the guy. So quit hounding me. But, as an involved party, I've got a right to know what happened there. I just can't wrap my head around it. I talked to Brendan at dinner. Heard he got tired of the musty old castle and ran to Hollywood. Had a lot of fun in the movie days. So what was the motive?
Guy's gone silent. Sounds like he convinced you he was a goody two-shoes. But I bet you heard a different story in Hollywood. Now that's the kind of thing your lot should be writing about. Nobody knows people's past, usually. But it's easy to fool you into thinking otherwise with a little acting. And once you know somebody's past, you can lead them by the nose. He tricked you all, and tried to kill you. What a farce. Not sure of the motive yet, but he was pretty systematic about it all. Spent a ton of cash beforehand to check up on all the tour attendees. Even did a background check on me.
On you? Why?
'Cause I was going to be on that tour.
No wonder I thought he knew me. The hell, so he just researched us?
That's the oldest trick in the book for us, saying, I know all about you. It makes you superior to the other person, so you can control them. Then they freak out and have to submit. He knew that tactic well. Seeing right through people without any tricks. That's what makes a real monster, ain't it? In his case, he just used money and connections to dig up people's pasts, and played the part of a monster.
But the research wasn't to select candidates, so he just picked randomly. Oh, damn, was he just in it for fun?
Now, my turn to ask questions. What you tell me is the only way I can figure out this incident. Give me anything you got. First, Brendan, or Boogie rather. What kind of man was he?
How should I say it? I suppose he had no emotion. That's how I saw him. He said such terrifying things without a care. He hardly showed any human feelings. He really was like a monster.
Keith told me he was a real jester.
Jester? Absolutely not. I would have much preferred if he were at least a little silly. He was a very disturbing, terrifying man. He was totally calm as he did awful things.
Richard, you seem to have a suspicion he might be Brendan. Why do you think that?
When my daughter went missing, and I panicked thinking that man might have taken her, Keith told me something. This was the kind of person who would show corpses as decoration, so if he did take Sophie, he'd show off proof of it, meaning she was still safe. Luckily enough, I didn't see them, but indeed, evidently, there were many dead bodies left around. As Keith said, my daughter hadn't fallen into his grasp. He was correct in his assumption. That made me realize something unusual about what he'd said. Keith said he saw the moment Brendan's neck snapped, and his corpse was quickly dropped into the basement. Isn't that odd? Why did he quickly put Brendan's corpse out of sight? Why did he treat him differently from the other victims?
Very astute, Richard.
'Cause he didn't want you investigating it.
Yeah.
He's got some keen insight, I'll give him that. So you suspected this was a farce plotted by Brendan?
No, well, I suggested that since Keith hadn't checked the corpse, he might still be alive. I only wanted to believe there was a chance he was alive. I had no conviction about the rest, so I didn't speak about it to Keith. I wouldn't dare risk throwing him off with my amateur opinion, not to mention we didn't know whether his wife was safe.
Apparently, Keith saw the moment Brendan's head came off, actually.
Was it a doll?
Right you are. Packed with neat little blood packs, it seems. Brendan was hung upside down and had his mouth taped up, and it was dark enough to be hard to tell who's who. Just dressing him up the same way made Keith assume it was him. On top of all those flashy rave lights, He dropped the corpse down below, so it was impossible to check it closer. And since Keith saw the tour conductor killed right after that, of course, he'd think Brendan was killed too.
If I'd said something, maybe this could have been resolved sooner, but I was paralyzed with fear. I was only worried about my daughter, even when Keith was running all over the place for us.
Don't worry about it. Keith did all that 'cause he wanted to. That's all. He's deeply glad you're all safe. Now, little lady, can we hear from you too?
Hear what?
Anything. What you thought. What you noticed.
Well, I knew he was a fake, because I've met the real Boogeyman.
Sophie, stop it. Not this tale again.
Fine, if you say so, Papa. Guess I'm not saying a word.
Go ahead, please. Meeting the real boogeyman sounds pretty juicy. Can you tell me more?
Maybe not really met. He just touched my shoulder, but his hand was cold as ice. Right away, I knew it wasn't human. That guy's hands were human, though. They had warmth, so I knew he was just a regular guy.
Huh. So boogeyman's hands are cold, eh? Tell that to my little squirt. Anything else you noticed?
I feel like he might get angry if I say this.
I won't. Tell me.
That guy had this cold and emotionless air, like you couldn't tell what he was thinking at all. It reminded me of Mr. Keith, a little.
Yep.
You still think that way now?
Not even, because Mr. Keith got really mad at me. He was like, "Don't worry your papa ever again."
Red paint? On his face? There was nothing like that. It was all red from blood spurts, though.
Really? Keith told me he had a weird paint on a torn paper bag. And one more thing. Did you see any red graffiti in the castle? Or any monsters? Hear any phones ringing?
This was also really well done. I just assumed that everybody could see it. Keith never brought it up. Never once did he do a reality check. And we as players couldn't be blamed for just going along with it and saying, oh, I guess he did all this. That was all in Keith's head.
No, I didn't.
Mr. Hoover, you're colorblind, if I recall. Maybe you just couldn't see the paint.
Yeah, but it's white and pink I get mixed up. I can see red just fine.
Well, and you, miss?
I saw quite a bit of the castle, but none of that. Did you hear that from the others?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think you're lying. The others said they saw nothing too. But then, that makes Keith the one talking nonsense.
I don't think Keith is necessarily lying.
What do you mean?
Because people don't always see the same things you do.
Thanks for the assistance, you two. Sorry about calling you in 2 weeks after the fact.
Is not everything settled yet?
The police there are in the middle of their investigation. My role is just to assist. I'm going to report your testimonies to them, and that's that. I'll be off now. Eric, take them to the entrance.
When our son died, I thought my own life was over too. I couldn't think about anything. Nothing had any taste. But tears would suddenly come anyway. I don't remember anything about what I did back then, but I do remember one thing. That Keith was always at my side. When I wailed and shouted, he'd hug me, stroke my hair, say it was okay. Eventually, I adjusted to life without our son. I found I could laugh again. But when I got my own emotions back, I realized Keith had stopped laughing. I had been broken, and so had Keith. Over time, I was able to heal, but he didn't. He was still stuck in the moment of Todd's death. He was always supporting me, so he never faced up to himself. I struggled to be at least a little stronger. Next time, I would protect him, since I wanted him to laugh again. But I couldn't. I couldn't repay anything to Keith. And I realized I was a burden on him that would keep him from ever walking again. So, even if we're far apart, as long as he can laugh again, then that's the best choice I can make.
My wife always brings me warm milk before I go to bed. And last Father's Day, my little squirt tried cooking me a meal. I definitely don't need milk to get to sleep. And the kids cooking, I'll be blunt, it ain't good. But I'm glad for it. Usefulness and collateral don't mean a thing with this stuff. Keith didn't stay close to you expecting something in return. That's just what he wanted to do. You guys have got too much sympathy. You don't mind getting hurt for the sake of the other. But can't you notice that one of you being hurt hurts the other? You've just been getting more and more wounded as you go along. You're propping Keith up too, Helena. He can fight day after day, because he knows you're waiting at home, as much as I tease him about it. Don't think of yourself as baggage. Depend on him as much as you need. That's what he wants too.
Keith grabbed my hand and smiled, even though he was stabbed and wounded.
And what'd he say?
Got you.
Because he finally got what makes him happiest. But, man, too much discrepancy between your guys' testimonies and Keith's. Just how am I gonna report this to their department? Hey, Helena, he went back home from the hospital today, right? Can I come talk with him now?
I'm sorry. Before he goes back home, there's a place he's going to visit. And I'm planning to head there myself.
Oh, it's Todd's grave.
Keith.
I've always wanted to cry like this.
He's finally crying.
I never forgot about him. Not for a single day. Ever since he died, I was scared. I felt like even the slightest sign of weakness would make it all crumble. I acted like I felt nothing, like nothing disturbed me. I thought then I might be able to fool everyone, even myself. It was so stupid. I was broken a long time ago. It was all garbage, but I acted like a champion of justice. It always felt off. Whoever I was working for, I never felt repaid. And I saw you were safe, and you came up to me. Finally, I felt happy again. Acting strong just made me weak. It was pointless. Todd would never forgive his father staying broken forever, because I promised I'd protect his mom. I'll take off the blindfold. I'm gonna laugh, even if it's at a stupid TV show. If I'm pissed, I'll get mad. And if I'm sad, I'll cry. First, I guess there'll have to be counseling. There's something seriously wrong with my head, seems like.
You think?
It's gonna be a busy time. It's gonna be so busy, I won't be able to do it alone. Helena, I don't think I can deal with just being a good loser. I want a chance. Let me chase after you. Let me get down on my knees. You're the only one I want waiting for me.
There's no need for a chance. Didn't I tell you? Divorce or decide. I've decided. Haven't you too?
No.
We only ever have one umbrella, so we hold it together. And it's fine if we get a little wet, because it'll soon be sunny again.
Whew. It almost made me cry. Almost got me. Happy end. Come rain, come shine. Whew. Well, we'll just see the credits and then that'll be it. But what an amazing game. Again, I think the happy end was a little too hard to get to, a little too obscure, some of the things that we had to do or figure out. But, you know, we still got there. So, yeah, Dick Anderson is voiced by Manly Badass Hero, who, when I figured that out, I was like, okay. So cool. So cool. But, per Yuri Games' instructions, we'll let the credits roll. And that'll be it. I think there's a debug room at the end of this. They kind of just like, thank you for playing and everything. But, you know, I really enjoyed this. Such a good game. I don't know. I hope you check it out for yourself. And if you have watched my playthrough, I hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit, or gained some kind of appreciation for this game and their other games. This is a really, really good team. And of course, there's the author, Yuri. And we did it! Yep, so here's the debug room. Congratulations on beating the Boogeyman, and thank you for playing this game. Additionally, so if you played the previous 2 games in this series, this game was fully voiced with the help of voice actors. Due to the author's fatigue, there's no bonus scenario, but I did receive comments from each of the actors, so take the upper door if you're interested. The Something Man series has come to a turning point. The general storyline ends in the next game. I have plans for serious and silly extra chapters afterwards, so please play those if you're interested. Lastly, once more, congratulations on beating the game, and thank you for playing. Okay. Ah, there's the Sandman. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, I didn't notice that. Let's watch the bonus scene. Just real quick. Oh, there's Sophie and Richard.
Here again?
Oh, 5, I think.
Ugh, I can't stand it. We've told them the same story over and over. There's gonna be rumors at school about Sophie frequenting the police station.
Now, Sophie, don't complain. The police are doing their best, and it's been a month now. This must be the last time. I'm sure of it. Does my princess require a beverage to quell her temper? What shall it be, your majesty?
Orange juice.
Very well. I'll go buy some.
What's gonna happen?
Thanks.
Well, he's gone.
Hey, when those dogs attacked me, you saved me, right?
I knew it.
I can't imagine any other reason those dogs would fall asleep so quickly.
I fucking knew it.
Thanks. I'm having a great time lately. I'm getting along great with Papa and Anne, and Reagan, well, if she wants to get along, I'll give her a chance. Things are so much better than when I carried all my burden myself. Now I know there's someone always looking out for me. Sometimes I really miss you. You're doing okay, right? How about the other fairies? You know,
Nuh.
Sorry to butt in.
Ah! Hold on, wait! You got the wrong idea. I'm not a weirdo or anything, okay?
Don't touch me. Brats with a thing for daydreaming aren't the most comfortable people to be around.
I'm not daydreaming. Keep it between us, but I've met some fairies. So you don't believe me?
No, I do. I met one when I was a kid, too.
Really?
Yeah, this hobo in the area always had a head full of dandruff, so I called him the Dandruff Fairy. Oh yeah, and I've got a coworker who eats non-stop cup noodles, the Cup Noodle Fairy. Want to be introduced?
What a dick.
Why won't you believe me?
A 37-year-old who believes in fairies ain't exactly socially adjusted, don't you think? But hey, if they do exist, put in a request to one of your fairy friends to get me some wings. Big, fluffy pink ones.
What do you use those for?
Just want some wings. Why not? Mr. Detective wanna fly away. Huh. You angry? Better step off. One of your friends might cast a spell to turn me into a fluffy white kitty. Maybe instead of filling your head with stupid fantasies, fill in that chest a little.
Oh my
It's so
god.
pathetic I can't even look at it.
Ugh!
Jesus.
What's wrong?
Haven't been able to sleep since last night, even though I'm sleepy. It's weird.
Did you take any medicine?
The Sandman must not have been happy with how you treated Sophie.
Yep. Anxiolytics. Sleeping pills. Guess they're not working.
Let's talk to each other then. Before you know it, you'll be sound asleep, and it'll be morning.
Don't you need to sleep? You don't have to stay up for me.
It's fine. I'll stay with you until you're snoozing away.
Maybe some exercise would have been better.
Oh, that was kind of neat. Okay, well, we're gonna end it here, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this game, as you can probably tell by the review at the beginning of this video. But anyway, later!